Lesson 9. Smartphones, convenient or weakening our brains. 1. Dialogue. Instructions. Before class, listen to the audio file and practice reading out each part of the conversation on your own. How many hours a day do you use a smartphone? 1 hour after I get up, and from 7 to 11 in the evening after I come home. So about 5 hours. You use it for 5 whole hours? What do you use your smartphone for? I check the weather forecast, research train times, play games, use social media, and so on. Have you heard about the research saying that using a smartphone for more than 2 hours a day is bad for your brain? Huh? Is that true? According to Smartphones Destroy Academic Ability by Professor Ryuta Kawashima, the frontal lobe of our brain is hardly working at all when we use a smartphone. Sorry, I didn't catch what you said. Could you say it again slowly? Sure, I'll speak slowly. In his book, Smartphones Destroy Academic Ability, Professor Ryuta Kawashima says the following. Experiments on the brain have shown that when people use smartphones, the frontal lobe of their brain is hardly working at all. Sorry, what is the frontal lobe? The frontal lobe is the front part of the brain. It is responsible for thinking, judgment, planning, and communication, or in other words, high-level functions that only humans have. Why doesn't the frontal lobe work when people use smartphones? That's a very good question. What do you think? Probably because when we are using a smartphone, we don't have to use our brains spontaneously. Yes, that's a really important point. I think I'll limit my time using a smartphone to 1 hour and 50 minutes from today. I'm sure your academic ability will rise if you reduce the amount of time you spend on your smartphone.
Hello, Maxim.
Hello, Tomo.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. And what about you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Yesterday, I finally got a new smartphone, and at last I could let go of the old one. And yesterday, actually, before I realized I had been using it for about 7 hours because it runs so smoothly and has lots of new functions.
Oh, 7 hours in one go. Wow, that's pretty long. Sometimes, sometimes I use smartphone for too long, but not so much, I think. Yes.
You shouldn't use that so long. Okay, today I'm going to ask you some questions. And the first one is, what do you use your smartphones mainly for?
Oh, well, I mostly use my smartphone for communicating with different people, for example, with my friends, with acquaintances, and so on. And I also use it to read books when I'm riding on the train, for example.
Oh, good. You use it a lot of ways. Okay, the second question is, have you ever heard that Steve Jobs set limits of digital devices for his children? What do you think about that?
Oh, I have heard something about it, and I have a mixed feelings about it, because, well, sometimes it may be necessary, right? But such people sometimes tend to be too unreasonable because, well, they think they understand life pretty good, but, well, sometimes you don't. So I think it may be a good idea, but sometimes you just, you shouldn't be very strict, I think.
I totally
Yeah.
agree with you. Okay, the last question is, what do you think is important to use smartphones properly?
It's an interesting question. Well, I think that you must remember that smartphones can be both good and bad for you. So you must always think about why you are using it. Do you use it for something like to know something new and to speak to important people, or you're using it just to kill time? In the second case, sometimes it's better to think about something different.
Yeah, we should rethink about how to use smartphone again. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's all for today. Thank you, Maxim.
Thank you, Tomo.
See you again.